Hi guys, today we're going to talk a little bit about watermark. Let me give you the definition that I found on Google here. A watermark is a logo, text, or pattern that is intentionally superimposed onto another image. Its purpose is to make it more difficult for the original image to be copied or used without permission. In this exercise, we're going to be removing a watermark and we're also going to be creating our own. Now, you should be pretty familiar with spot healing and how it is that you'd go about getting rid of watermark. Let me zoom in on this real quick. I'm going to grab my magnifying glass. Okay, and so you can see it says 2013 GFX mark, and then we've used a spot healing to remove it. Next thing I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be changing the canvas size, and I'm going to include the watermark, which I'm about to create. So I go under image, I'm going to go down to canvas size. Right now the height is 11.06. And what I'll do is I want to add in, let's say, another 7 inches. So I'm going to go 18 and then make sure that when it says inches here, make sure it says inches here and not pixels. And then we look over here, our 3x3 grid. And right now the dot is in the bottom. I'm going to move the dot up to north. Remember, this is when you hit OK here, this is how the program then places your original graphic. And then it opens up, in this case, the lower portion of that screen with the transparency that we can work with. So I hit OK. And then what I'll be doing is I'm going to grab my image that I'm going to put the watermark on, and I'm going to have a before and after. So I'm going to go File, Open, and we'll just use this picture of Firefall. I do Control A, Control C for copy, and then I'm going to go back to the tab that says New Project. I'm going to hit Control V, which pastes it, and I'm going to move this up to the top of the stack. So I'm working over here in the Layers palette. I'm going to move this up about there, and now I need to resize it. So I'm going to do Control Alt T, or you just go Edit, Free Transform. Make sure you're on the right layer, not like I just did. So again, Edit, Free Transform. I'm going to then grab the handle in the corner and pull it so that I can fit it side by side. And then I hit Enter. And I'm going to duplicate this picture, so I need to do either Control J or Control A for all, Control C for copy, and then Control V for paste. So I'll hit Control J, make sure that the right layer is selected. Then I'm going to go to my Move tool, the first tool at the top of the console. I'm just going to slide that over. Next, I'm going to be zooming in, so I grab the magnifying glass, or I just hit Control++, and I can use the hand. The hand tool will move this. If I type H, see the way it turns into a hand? H is for hand, and I can then make it so that it fits the space a little better. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my text tool, and I'm going to then write my name over the top of this as a watermark. And so come up with some sort of a company name, be just your initials. And then we're going to do a little bit of resizing of the font. So I select up the font. I'm going to, right now it's at 135, so I'm going to bring it down. Let's pull it in like that. And I'm going to change this as well. So to 28. Okay, and I want to enlarge my name so that it fits and it's more dominant over the top. So I'm going to select it, and then I'm going to move that sizing up so that it's just hovering over it. Looks good there. And I'm going to hit Enter to lock it. And I need to, at this point, change the font style. So I'm going to go back to text. I'm going to select up the entire piece. I'm going to use the drop-down menu, and I'm looking for a font that's kind of classy, not too boring. Let's see what I can come up with. That's a decent one. Let's see how fancy that is. Yeah, it's not too bad. And so to create the watermark, I'm going to produce several of these that I'm going to place over the top of the image. And again, I'll use Control J, or I can do Control A, C, and V. Right now, I'm just going to hit Control J. And I'm going to then position this out. I'm going to hit Control J again. That's J as in Jack. And I'm going to then move this out here. And then what I want to do is I want to merge these layers together. So the way that you can combine layers is I'm going to select the top layer. I'm going to hold down Shift. look over in the layers palette, you'll see I'm going to hold down shift and then all three of these layers get selected. Next, I will go over to layer at the top and I'm going to go down to merge layers. Okay, and so that merges all three of these whoops. It merges all three of those text layers together so that they're one unit. And at this point in time, I want to tilt these the text a little bit. So I'm going to go edit and I'm going to go free transform. And before, when we've talked about this, when you grab obviously the corner handle, you can resize it. But if you put the cursor to the outside of that corner handle, you can then tilt it and stretch it. And so maybe this is, maybe this will be something you can use in the future. And then I hit enter to lock it. Now, with most watermarks, you want to decrease the opacity. So over here above the layers palette, I'm going to take it from 100% and I'm just going to bring it down so that you can still see the photograph through it, and you just kind of eyeball it as to where you feel it looks all right. And there you go. That's watermarking. Let me zoom out for a little bit. And what I'd like you to do is I would like you then also to include the before and the after text. Thanks for joining me. I'll catch you guys in the next video.